this points to another thing about this generation and the millennials and the generation after them, that they are growing up in a world where a candidate for president can say this. This is Beto O'Rourke being asked about third trimester abortion, which is never not necessary, but any third trimester kid can be saved, can be kept alive. So listen to the question and the answer.
Are you for third trimester abortions, or are you going to protect the lives of third trimester babies? Because, you know, there's really not a medical necessity for abortion. It's not a medical emergency procedure, because typically third trimester abortions take up to 3 days to have. So you would, in that sense, if there was an emergency, the doctors would just do a C-section and you don't have to kill the baby in that essence. So are you for or against third trimester abortions?
So the question is about abortion and reproductive rights. And my answer to you is that should be a decision that the woman makes. I trust her.
Big cheers. Every single Democrat candidate, and I think there are 457 of them now, every single one has that attitude. Now, you're talking about a viable child. You're talking about a viable baby now. We're not saying what most of the laws are, 20 weeks. At 20 weeks now, with science being what it is, a baby can be viable. But all right, let's call that a borderline. That's 20 weeks, which is, again, 5 months. So it's not like this is not just a little dot in there. This is a full-grown baby. But never mind. Let's put that aside for a minute. This is a viable, every single Democrat candidate is talking about being able to slaughter viable babies. Every single one of them. Now, let me ask you this, okay? Just think about this for a minute. If a viable child is not a human being, who is? And what are you, okay? What makes you a human being? If a viable child is not a human being, then neither are you, neither am I. I mean, you're just a meat puppet. You're just a piece of meat whose life depends on the people who support you feeling that you are worthwhile, worth having, worth saving. This is an attitude. This is a philosophy. As I always tell you, you know, a philosophy makes sense. Somewhere along the line, philosophies make sense. And if your philosophy is that a viable baby can be killed, then your philosophy is that you yourself and everybody around you is a meat puppet. If you're just a meat puppet, why not sell your body to pay your rent? Why not sell your body to pay for anything? Why not? You know, what's the diff? What is the diff? Now, of course, we know that it's just not true. It just isn't true. And a person who sells, listen, I've written novels that involve prostitutes. I've done a lot of reading and even talking to people about prostitution and talking to prostitutes about this is not a happy thing. People who talk about sex work are talking about a pathology. Being a prostitute is a pathology. It's a sickness. It makes you feel awful. It usually comes along with somebody who's beating the crap out of you and taking your money, a pimp. You know, it's a sickness. It is not just a profession. It's a form of neurosis. If we're living in a society which basically reduces you to this, you're not going to be a happy person. You're not going to be a happy person. That's the difference, I think, between what I saw at Franciscan University in Steubenville, and this is after they listened to Knowles. They were still happy. What I saw there and what I see at NYU, where they're basically downloading this materialist socialism while running a highly lucrative organization. You know, and this, you know, I mean, what is this thing they're doing in Maine now? In Maine, they want to change the law so that not just doctors can perform abortions. This is their new push in Maine because, you know, if you're going to kill babies, everybody should have the fun. And why should only doctors get to have the fun of murdering babies? You know, so that's what they're doing there. And then in Georgia, they're doing the other thing. They're passing a heartbeat bill, which means that you can't abort a baby after 6 weeks when a doctor can detect a heartbeat. Obviously, both of these things are heading to the courts. They're going to meet up in the courts. We're going to have this conversation. And when we're having this conversation, this is what I want to know. What I want to know is if a baby who can be saved is not a human being, who is and why? What's the difference? What is the difference between a baby that can be saved and you? I want to hear what that argument is. I want to hear all these arguments and how they go. And by the way, just if you're of the praying sort, our friend Obianuju Ikiocha is addressing the EU today on this subject, and she may have already done it. She was just going in last I heard, but I know she's going to do great. She asked me to wish her luck, but she doesn't need luck.